Hello and welcome into the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight we have a very special series of interviews as we prepare for All About HUE Fest in Rocket League. Now, for those of you uninformed, a HUE Fest is you get to travel to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Only 8 teams get to go out of about 40, and it's one of the biggest events in collegiate Rocket League other than the CRL World Championship. I'm your host, Colby D'Angelo Alloway, and joining me instead of a co-caster will be interviewees Eddie Raz Azam and Gabriel Gil Reynolds in that order. And so as we prepare to get right into this, we are going to look at the standings a little bit so that we know where these teams are coming from and where they'd maybe like to go, and see if they'd like to maybe do some things to get a better record as we go into the finals. Boise State has a really nice record. They're 7-1. That is the most won games. Stockton and Fisher College with Stockton, Fisher College, West Virginia University, and Ottawa University, all with 0 losses. So those will definitely be teams to look out for. And Oakland 5-3 in Group 3. And now that's a little bit misleading because those 3 teams that Oakland lost to were very, very challenging teams. Group 3 was one of the most stacked group out of groups 1 through 8, including colleges like Northwood, which kind of gives you an idea of just the scope of the esports programs that Oakland has had to contend with. And we'll get to ask Eddie Raz all about that here tonight for Rocket League. And with that, I think we're ready to get straight into the interview. Hey, good to see you. At least if it's just through the cameras here, we're super excited to have you on here tonight, Roz. So before we get into more the nitty-gritty Rocket League stuff, can you tell me a little bit about your major and interests outside of Rocket League? That was before we get into all the nitty-gritty Rocket League stuff. We want to learn a little bit more about you as a person, Roz. So can you tell me more about your major and interests perhaps outside of Rocket League before we get into all about HUE Fest? Well, we're going to go ahead and cut on that. A little bit of technical difficulties, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure. Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Hello and welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight is all about HUE Fest for Rocket League. And so the big deal about HUE Fest is we are now in the stage where 8 teams get to travel to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. These 8 teams have fought hard through the whole group stage out of about 40 teams. So they are the cream of the crop. You can see their records up there. Boise State 7-1. That's the one we're really invested in tonight. I'm your host, Colby D'Angelo Alloway, and joining me tonight, instead of some extra co-casters, we will be able to interview some players for HUE Fest, including Eddie Raz Azam and Gabriel Gill Reynolds. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and get right into our first interview, which we're super hyped about, for Eddie Raz Azam. Hey, it's super nice to see you here. So before we get into the more nitty-gritty Rocket League HUE Fest stuff, I'd like to know a little bit more about you as a person. Oh, and with that, technical issues, we're going to go straight to a break, but stick around because we'll be right back.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
The mic, just tell me when to stop singing. Yes, I will test again. I'm gonna. Hello and welcome into the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight we have a very special broadcast for you. It is all about HUE Fest Rocket League. We have a couple of players here, Eddie Razazam and Gabriel Gill Reynolds, here to answer all of our questions, including what's the HUE Fest experience like? What sorts of teams are you going to go against? What are the big things that you're going to be working on? I'm your host, Colby D'Angelo Alloway, and joining me tonight, instead of a co-caster, are these two exceptional Rocket League players, Raz and Gil. And with that, there's no reason to stall any longer. We're going to get right into that interview here. So, hey, Raz, really great to see you here tonight.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty HUE Fest Rocket League stuff, I'd like to know a little bit more about you as a person. So, what's your major and maybe some other interests outside of Rocket League?
My major right now is history with a secondary education endorsement, which means I'll be going into teaching. Right now I'm in my 5th year, and I'm student teaching at a local high school. And I guess hobbies outside of Rocket League. I like to play the piano in my free time. I'm currently reading Game of Thrones. I'm on book 2. And sometimes I just like to play random games, I guess. I don't really do much outside of Rocket League.
Totally understandable. I mean, you're really good, so why branch out into other things? Now, with that, what would you say your main role on the team is? Are your rotations on point? Are your goals pinpoint accurate?
I think it's mainly rotations. I make sure that the team flows naturally so that we're not double committing and stepping on each other's toes. We have a very aggressive play style, so in order to keep that up, we need someone who's just going to focus on rotating back or rotating into the play so that people don't get confused and don't step on each other. And, occasionally I am the threat on the team, but I really need to warm up to that to get there.
Totally understandable. I mean, everybody that scores those cross-map goals does need to. So what do those comms sound like when you're urging people to rotate or knowing when to be aggressive?
It's actually not me that's calming the most. I'm just silently rotating. It's mostly Justin and Jake. Jay Wismont, J Cubed. They're the main communicators on the team. They're communicating positioning. They're communicating if they're going or not, and they're generally keeping the vibes in check, I'd say. My role is just to make sure that they can perform the best that they can, and if I have a chance to put a ball on net or make a save, then I'm going to do that when I can.
Silent but stalwart. I absolutely love it. So now as we transition more into about HUE Fest, I do understand that you guys went to the CRL Collegiate World Championship. So tell me what that was like.
It's probably one of the best experiences of my life, and I'm sure I can speak for my teammates as well. Just being able to fly out on Psyonix's dime to compete in a tournament and not only compete but beat the best European team in that tournament, it was an immaculate experience. I probably won't have another experience like that unless I go back to the World Championships next year, which we will.
Ooh, confidence. I like it. So what are you bringing from the CRL World Championships to HUE Fest?
I think it's just more confidence, more in-game experience, more LAN experience. A lot of the teams that are going to HUE Fest maybe haven't competed in a lot of LANs or any LANs of that matter, and especially not ones that are going to be this intense with, the top 8 teams all being, heavy contenders to win it all. I think we just bring a lot of confidence, a lot of, just passion to the team that maybe other rosters may not have.
That's amazing and so eloquently put. So what are some big teams that you're looking out for then? Because you mentioned that there are lots of threats.
Yeah, I guess the main threat on the opposite side of the bracket from us is Fisher. They have 3 pro players on the roster, so you obviously have to look out for them. I guess our immediate threat to look out for, though, is Stockton. They've historically had our number many times, and it's going to be hard to try and work against them when, we have just not been able to kind of break that wall in a while. And, they also took us out of the TRL World Championships as well. So it does sting a bit, and I'm hoping we can pull out a win.
So in order to pull out that win, as my final question, I do have to ask, what are you personally going to be hard grinding to prepare for HUE Fest?
Lots of ones, lots of twos. I'm currently back on the six-man's grind. My teammates will do the opposite of grinding because they peak on low hours. So
Ooh.
we'll probably get J-Wiz back on like 6 hours before the land, and then J-Cube probably at about like 17 hours maybe. And I think we'll probably be able to peak off that.
Amazing, and good that you guys know your strategies and teammates so well. So thank you for joining us here tonight. We've had a great time and learned a lot about HUFest and CRL, which is an experience not a lot of people get to have. And so as we close this out, we're going to go ahead and get Gil up on the stage, so stick around after this break.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Hello and welcome back into the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight, this is still all about HUFest, and we do have one of our very own players here, Gabriel Gil Reynolds, to talk all about HUFest and to kind of walk us through this amazing, kind of once-in-a-lifetime experience here tonight. You can see some of our players on stage having a great time. You can see the records there. Boise State, 7-1. Don't mean to brag, but that is the most wins on that board. I'm your host, Colby D'Angelo Alloway, and joining me on desk for the interview is Gabriel Gil Reynolds. And so, just before we get into the super specific HUFest Rocket League stuff, can you tell us a little bit about your major and you as a person, maybe some hobbies outside of Rocket League?
So I'm a computer science major. I'm not really sure on my specifics yet, but we're just kind of keeping it general for now. And sorry, what was the second part to that?
Hobbies outside of Rocket League.
Big football guy. That's what I do a lot in the fall. It's coming up. And honestly, just kind of messing around with coding different things like that as well.
That's amazing. Coding is awesome, and there's so many different things that you can do with that. Do you find yourself more geared towards like game development or web development, or just kind of a jack of all trades?
It's kind of a jack of all trades thing, just trying to learn more, get ahead of my profession.
Oh, definitely. And if you're starting this early, you're definitely there. So on that note, Doc has told us that you are an exceptional leader. Like, you're a great player, but what really caught Doc's eye was your ability to lead other people. And so you're the team captain of Boise State, right?
Yep, that is true. It is my job to wrangle the team for scrims, be the manager, team leader on the field and off.
Is there a lot of wrangling involved in the Boise State team?
Certain people that I won't instinct.
Fantastic. I was about to ask for the name.
Can be tough to get for different things, but it's just a college student thing, trying to make sure that we get the time we need into practice, but also let them and myself enjoy the college experience and get what we need to do for also our academic career.
And I'm sure homework is part of that college experience.
Homework is a lot of that college experience.
So, more on your role on the team. So, would you classify yourself as a pinpoint scorer, amazing at rotations, or the main comms?
I definitely think I'm the comms leader.
Definitely.
On the team. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I see myself more as the third man, the defensive player for the team, kind of the anchor, trying to just let their own instincts mechanics shine and just absolutely destroy their team. I have a joke that as soon as I turn ball cam off and stop looking at the plate, they score.
So what's it like to be the main anchor for the team, but also the main comms person? Those are usually not roles that coincide.
I think for me, it's kind of when I'm usually playing that third man role or that deeper, kind of more back play style, it allows me to kind of see the field. So a lot of times I'm calling what the other team's doing, if they're challenging or they're waiting, or where the field is open.
Because, Durtho and Instinct can't turn around to see it, so they've got to get that information from you there. How's the trio working?
It started off rough. The team was a little raw at the start, but this team has so much talent, and we're going to be so good. I think a lot of credit has to go to our coach, Wayton. Already, we've only just started for a week or two now, and we have already just turned around insanely, so we're only going to get better and better.
And what does it take to turn around a team that started a little bit raw, but now are functioning like a well-oiled machine, or at least getting there?
I think it's a lot on the mentality of a team, trying to make sure that we're giving 100% in practices and scrims and games, but also just a play style thing. It takes a while to mesh a new player in like Durtho this semester, so being able to put him into a role where he can succeed, but also where it fits the team game plan was a big thing for us.
Definitely, and it's so amazing that you guys are getting that on such a short amount of time. Like, it's only been a couple of weeks, and you guys are getting this down. So with that, can you talk a little bit about your experience with HUE Fest in the group stage?
Yeah, so we started off, we knew going into the group that UTA was going to be the main place of competition for us to make it to LAN. And we lost them the first time, 4-2. And we played them, I think, 4 times, including that match over the summer and then with this roster. And then I know last year I'd never beat them either. So coming to our second match versus them, we 4-0'd, we swept them. And and that was really awesome for me because obviously I never beat them. We never had. So getting over that hump and also to do it to make a LAN was probably the sweetest moment so far this year.
Definitely. So what are some hurdles or humps, as you just said, that you're expecting as we get more into the playoffs and finals territory?
I think trying to find our footing on LAN will be the first thing because we went to a LAN last year in a similar part. We went to Albany, and part of it was the travel experience, but I think we struggled to find our footing early, and we struggled versus teams that we probably should have been better against because of that. So going to this LAN, I think getting that foot down, trying to figure out how we're going to play it the best of our ability will be a big thing for us, especially because we also have to play our first CRL quals while we're there.
So you're looking to start strong and only get stronger. What are you most excited about in this experience?
I think just generally the experience of getting to go. I think any Rocket League LAN event I'm always looking forward to, even if
Definitely.
I'm not playing. So especially going to go with this team. You know, obviously, me and Insane known each other for a while, but from last year. But I'm getting this team bonding experience, getting to go for a weekend, have some fun out there, and then also just try to compete and win.
And you guys definitely are one of the teams that get along really well in Boise State. Like, the Rocket League team has always been the one that we kind of point to, and we're like, yeah, they're really close. They're really good friends. They get along well with each other. So as we get prepared to go into the HUE Fest finals, what are you specifically going to be working on?
For me, it's a lot of trying to control the ball in awkward situations, trying to make sure that when I have possession that I can get it past the defenders or clear it if I need to by my team time. But also just trying to be mentally prepared, trying to make sure that we're ready for a big event like this, and that's going to kick off a pretty big week for us, considering that's also when CRL quals are. That's always big every semester, so trying to make sure that we can kick that off on the right foot and be mentally prepared.
Great. Well, thanks for taking time out of your super busy schedule to come get interviewed tonight. You really stepped up as the leader Boise State expects you to be on this Rocket League team. And with the end of that interview, we're going to go back to a break, but stick around.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.